Hey, this is the Mad Scientist guy. In this video, I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix this rat's nest that it's been printing on really large prints and get this fine-tuned so that I can do a larger print on my Ender 3. Okay, so I've got another issue with my printer. I've got it here in a box if you're wondering what this is, because it's really cold. It's in the winter. And the issue is when I'm trying to do bigger prints, I'm not getting good adhesion and I'm getting these rat's nests. And so if I have got a small print like this, it'll work just fine. But when it needs to go, over a large surface area, even with bed leveling and with the probe installed, it just simply won't work. Primarily here and here. It works fine back here. So I think what I need to do here is readjust the overall leveling of the screws to get it closer so that the CR Touch can compensate for the unevenness in the plate itself. But I think right now it's too far out of alignment from the total distance here versus here. So these back here are pretty consistent, and here it seems to have an issue. So I'm going to first measure and see if I can figure out what's really going on, and then adjust these front knobs. Okay, I've just homed it, and the Z distance is 11.13, which means that I've got a 1.13 millimeter Z offset distance. And so I'm going to take this down to 0, and then I'm going to take a piece of paper and see what it looks like in these various areas. So we're going to go into Prepare, Move Access, Move Z, and I'm going to do a 1 millimeter. Make sure okay, so I can already tell you something is amiss because it was starting to grab at 1.1 millimeters, and that's not right. It shouldn't be grabbing. All right. Go back to Z, and now let's see where we're at. So it's a 2.1. Okay, so that means it's too tight. So because that's free, and that's just starting to grab at 0.1 millimeter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to 0. So that's 0.1. I'm going to go to the 0.1. Okay, that is 0, and we've got the tension, and that's how I initially leveled this. So that means that what I'm going to do is going to carefully make sure I get about a paper's amount when I go all the way around. Actually, I have 2 because I'm trying to be a little bit conservative here. All right, so let's go into the Y. And go fairly slowly. If it starts to grab, I'm going to loosen it. Okay, so that's getting looser, so I want to bring this up. I can't remember which way is up or down. They seem to be counterintuitive. Okay, so tightens to the left. It's counterintuitive. That's the way it is. Okay. And I'm going to go to the right. the x-axis. Fairly consistent. Okay, this is starting to get tight. Maybe to the right. Yeah. Righty loosey makes no sense. That's the way it goes. Okay. And I'm going to go back in the Y. That's not consistent. Okay. Alright, so at that, alright, so the z-axis is 0. I'm going to go to home. Let me move this so you can see the screen. Control, bed leveling, probe z offset. I'm going to take this to 0. And store the settings. So now the z offset is 0, the position of the z is 0, and now we go into control, bed leveling, probe the z offset fresh. Okay. Starting to grab at 1.3. Back to one piece of paper. 1.4. Okay. Store settings. Alright, let's try and print. Okay, I'm just turning it on and it's going through its bed leveling routine. I was able to get that G-code fixed so that it does it all the time now. It was just a typo in the manual. But anyway, we'll do that and we'll see if it'll print. Alright, so here's the first layer, and it's already much better than it was before. I'm pretty much taking the entire bed here, and I'm getting good adhesion. Okay, the print is done. Did a really good job. You can see where I changed the filament color. Just a little bit of a misadhesion, but overall, a very good job. So that really made a big difference, and I was able to do a quite large print, pretty much the entire area. Okay, so just to summarize what's happened here and why the previous one didn't work and what I did here, is that the bed leveling function, what it does when you have the CR Touch is that it'll measure slight variations or wobble in the plate, but there is a limit to how much it can correct. And so if the distance between the nozzle and the plate, which is done by those 4 screws at the bottom, if that distance is too uneven between these 4 corners, or however many points that you measure, then eventually the CR Touch will be unable to correct the problem. So the whole point of today's correction here was to get this distance more even between the nozzle and the plate on the whole surface area. And you know, prior to the CO Touch, that was the only way that you could get a big print. But what happened to me anyway is that somebody went in there and kind of fiddled around with it and wasn't aware of it, and it got out of calibration. So this is kind of a maintenance thing that you have to do every now and again to make sure that you're within the tolerance vertically. So I hope you found that helpful, and I will see you next time.